Hello, good evening, this is Diecast Loon. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to another episode of Vintage Matchbox Mondays, episode 60 of Vintage Matchbox Mondays episode. I can't believe we're at episode 60. It doesn't seem like I've been going for that long. But anyway, I thought for this week's episode, rather than unbox some new pieces that I've actually got some new pieces to unbox, I thought I'd save them for after Christmas. And I thought I'd go back and look at some of my favourite castings from this year. So I thought to look a bit of a Christmas special and just have a recap of some of my favourite pieces. And obviously this year I've picked up a lot of new vintage stuff, whether it's been from flea market, car boot sale, or going to my favourite vintage diecast shop. I've been lucky enough to pick up some top quality, really nice condition pieces. But I thought I would just recap, show about 8 or 10 pieces that when I got them, they were just more special to me than some of the others. And it's very difficult because I got a lot of nice stuff. And I'm sure, and as I know, as I was looking through them, it is very difficult because I've probably come across, I would have thought this year, 150 pieces of vintage Matchbox. So to try and narrow it down to 10, but I've picked out some of my favourite pieces. And that's what we're going to be doing, looking at them. So anyway, we'll get straight into it and we'll take a look at the Matchbox series. I think it's a number 47 tipper. So let's get a little bit of zoom on. Now this one I got at the beginning of the year, I believe, and it was in a pile of Matchbox cars, only going for £2. And the only thing I can see wrong with it is it's got the odd little flea bite, and most of that isn't from anybody playing with it, it's just from the box it was in, which is a shame. But it doesn't bother me because this is what I like to call a survivor piece. It's near mint and it still has the top piece, which is quite unusual to have. And obviously this stays up quite nicely, very nicely made. And I would love to find, they did a variant of this. They did a couple of variants. They did do a super fast version, and they did a green super fast version, I believe. Or am I getting this? No, I'm getting it confused. That's a different truck. They did do a super fast version of this, which I would like to get, but they're fetching silly money. But these aren't cheap. So I got this for £2 in the end, which I thought was an absolute bargain. And like I said, it is pretty much mint. And it was made from about 1968 to about 1969, this particular casting as far as I'm aware of. And it is based on a DAF truck. So very cool. And that was a particular piece I've been after for a long time. And when I seen it, I couldn't believe it was in the £2 pile. That was a real good bargain. And like I said, so that's why it's made the pile of some of my favourite finds. Because like I said, to get that in mint condition in a box, you're looking at £40 to £50. The next piece, which is what I got confused with, and again, it's the same type of truck, it's the same DAF truck. And again, it's from about 68 to about 1969. And it's the version of this is what I wanted. They do a version of this with the super fast wheels and in green. But I haven't ever come across one yet. Now this is a very similar truck. As I said, it is the Matchbox series number 58 girder truck. And it's got most of its girders. But again, I didn't pay much for this. Again, it was a couple of pounds. And again, nothing wrong with it really at all. Just a fact of, like I said, it does come with, it's supposed to have come with a few more girders, I believe. I'm not sure how many exactly, but to even have them, was something. And again, it didn't cost very much. Came from the same place that other truck came from, but I think it was I think it was like a week or so later, or a couple of weeks later, I came across this. And the particular guy, he hasn't been there for a while, unfortunately, the flea market, because they're doing some building work where the flea market would usually be held. So they haven't been there for a few months, which is a shame because he had lots of cars that were either mint, near mint, play worn. And like I said, this was in the £2 to £3 section. So again, another great find. And again, the super fast version didn't go on for long, for about 70 to 71, and then they changed. Obviously that was the end of that. So again, that's another DAF truck. But again, another really great find. And then we're going to go to, oh sorry, I got one more from that same place, and again it was from the £2 pile, and it's this, the Greyhound coach. And I have the original plain wheel version of this, the what I call the plain wheel version of this, but it's a little bit tatty. And I paid, I don't know what I paid for the other version. I paid £5 or £8 for the other version that was quite tatty. Again, this was in the £2 section, if you can believe it. I mean, this thing is mint. And again, it was a casting that I was, I mean, you can go on eBay and you can pay £40, £50 for these if you want to. You're going to struggle to get these on eBay in this condition for under £30 unless you really sort of look around. And there it was, sitting there in the £2 section. I mean, it is mint. It's not a mark. So I don't know what he was doing that day, whether he was just having a a bit of a strange day, was being nice to me, but it was in the £2. And it is, and it's the version that I prefer, because I do like the super fast more than the original wheel, the plain wheel. But the stickers look vibrant. And again, this particular piece was from about 1970, I believe. I've always got it upside down. There you go, made in England, all that good stuff. It's number 68. So again, very good find. And now we're going to look at a couple of more, slightly more modern pieces, but again, still from about the late to mid 80s. And it is this. And I was after one of these for ages. And again, I like to try and find these in the wild. And that's the thing, they are getting harder and harder to find, because as we know now, the way things are, everybody seems to be an expert now on whatever it is you collect, whether it's Matchbox cars or plant pots, whatever it is you're into the collectible, people now know. So trying to find these cars at a reasonable price in good condition is difficult. And every time I've gone to car boot sales, I've found these things beaten to death. This one's got a little bit of dust, very strangely enough, on the inside of the windows. But other than that, it's pretty much mint. And this again came from one of my favourite vintage die-cast shop, which I got it boxed, and I think I paid £5 for it. It does have the little slidey door, as you can see, but it is I believe it is the Dodge Caravan. There you go, 1984 Dodge Caravan, as you can see. And obviously it's from the Macau years and has the usual awesome Matchbox suspension, and it has the same wheels on it as they would put on the convoy trucks. So that was a particular piece that when I seen it, I had to snap it up. Another particular favourite piece, I'm going to have a little look underneath it, because I know it's Ford. It's based on the Ford, it just says Ford 460, and it is the flare side, oh, I don't know. But it's an awesome Ford pickup. And again, they do a few different variations of this, but this is the one I wanted. And the thing is, I've got old catalogues here, and like we all do, we see cars on other people's channels. And I know, and I think I've seen this on Tyrone's channel, building the ultimate Matchbox car collection. And I know he's got one or two of these, and I thought I'd really want one of them. And like I said, I was lucky enough to find one mint. And all the suspension. And like I said before, I do like muscle cars. I am a muscle car guy, but I do prefer my trucks, pickups and vans and all that good stuff. So that was a good score. And again, that £5. So that's how we doing so far. So that's 5 pieces. Number 6 is a bit of a random piece. I'm just going to try and see if I can read what it says. Red Rider, I think it says. A little look, get some extra zoom on, because as usual I've got light issues in here. Red Rider. But it is a cool piece anyway. I never used to like these as a kid, if I'm completely honest, but as you get older, your taste sort of changes, and now I quite like these exaggerated big block engines. And if I remember rightly, I'm not sure what this is based on. it's based on a Camaro, if it's based on a... I think it's based on a Camaro. I think last time I said it was a Dodge Charger, I think I said last time, but anyway, it's pretty cool. I just thought it was cool. So that's that. And then obviously where I put them, got a couple of very cool pieces here. We got to this one, which is number 53 CJ6 Jeep, and it is the green version, which is cool. It's sometimes nice to find the variation that the box comes with, but it's also sometimes cool to find the other variation. I have the red one somewhere, but this is the awesome green. It's got a bit of a funky steering wheel going on, bit of the old 70s quality control issue there, but other than that, it is mint. Very, very cool piece. And on what I call the supposed to be super fast wheels, because if you push them, they weren't brilliant. The wheels got bigger and bigger and bigger towards the end of Lesney with the super fast, and they looked okay, but they weren't going to win any races in my opinion. Not like the older sort of transitional super fast, really had some nice roll, and so did the next. They sort of did three sort of sizes in the super fast. You had sort of the transitional, slightly like these, that were slightly wider, and then you had the large wide ones, which I'll show in a minute. But I was never into racing them down the tracks, to be honest. I was just into playing with them in dirt pits and stuff like that. But that is a very cool piece. So that is the number 53 CJ6 Jeep. Another particular favourite, and it is this. And again, these last few pieces again is from my favourite diecast shop, vintage diecast shop. So there you go, Pontiac number 4 Pontiac Firebird. Box is a little bit tatty, but the car is mint. Really nice. You can see the gloss in the paint. And these are the habit of fading badly there, not just from wear, but they just did. And this is my favourite era of Matchbox for me, because this is what I grew up with, was this era of Matchbox. But unfortunately, the quality control was starting to slip here and there now and again, not all the time, just a little bit. But awesome piece, never been played with, as you can tell. Has a really nice base. It's not mottled or oxidised much. But there you go. If I can get Pontiac Firebird, made in England, 1975. Copyright Lesney product. And I don't think this has got suspension, this one, but not too bad a roller, but they don't roll as good with these wider wheels. They got wider and wider and wider. But yeah, particularly cool piece. And then the last piece, or should I show one more after this? I don't know, we'll see. I don't want to go too long. Obviously my favourite, and I've shown this many times because it is my favourite, it is the number 55 Ford Cortina. And like I said, because as a kid, and this one is wrapped in tissue. I forgot that I wrapped this one in tissue for some reason, I don't know why. But I had a couple of these as a kid in this colour, and I believe I had the red version. There was a red version kicking around. But it's because my father at the time, he had not quite this shade of green, but he had a green Mark IV Ford Cortina. So it's always, as a kid, you want to play with the cars that your parents have or your dad has. And again, these are fetching quite good money. These are fetching high-end premium money. You know, these are like, really, some of these, you know, not just this, but this and some of the other ones, if you go on eBay, they're fetching premium RLC money. But, you know, they are what they are, and that's what I'm into. You can see the nice bit of gloss there on the paintwork. This one's got a little bit of tarnish on the bottom, but not much. But there you go, number 55 Ford Cortina, made in England, all that good stuff. And again, that's the wider wheels. And again, not a bad roller, but they're very heavy pieces. These are heavy. So that is number 10. I think I'll just show one more piece, just because if I look, is it to hand? Can I see it? So I'm just checking if it's to hand. Just Bear with me 2 seconds. I thought it was. So I got it. It's where I sit. I've got cars in this is like a big desk with drawers and a big cabinet on one side, and all my really old stuff is in one side, and the other side is cars that I got to work on. So some cars are to hand, some are. Anyway, this is one that again I got from this year. My partner got me this one. I'm not quite sure where she got me this one from now, but she did find it. But I just thought I'd show it as it is one. And again, this is another truck. And this is old. I think this one's about 66, I believe. But it's a Leyland truck. And I've got several of these in different sorts of trucks, but I'm not going to go showing to you now because I'll be all day. I've got a lot of trucks. But this is the Matchbox series. I think it just says number 10. Just trying to see what truck it is. It's the pipe truck. But it does have all its pipes. So very cool. So anyway, that's today's video. Let's put the cars back into shot if we can. Let's see if we can do. Just bear with me. Put them there. Put the Cortina there. So anyway, that is some of my favourite pieces from this year. It's been a great year. It's been a great year for collecting vintage Matchbox, and it's been a great year for making friends on YouTube. I'd like to thank you all for watching these episodes. This is going to be the last episode of this year, because next week I believe it's going to be Christmas is on a Monday, so I won't have time for Vintage Mondays, but I will be back obviously after that, and then we'll get straight back to it. And I'd just like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you all very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.